There's one. Oh, if it's a bass or pike. That's a bass, it's a giant. Oh my God. What's going on, everyone? For those of you guys that don't know me, my name is Benjamin Nowak. For those of you guys that do, thanks for coming back and watching another video. We are out here obviously on the lake today, but before we get started, I'm not recording on my big camera. There's a reason for that. I went to set up my big camera, went to set up the camera so I could, you know, shoot my little intro. Oh my gosh, dude, that's a bald eagle. That's a bald eagle that just came down and ate some bait off the water. Ate a fish. That's so cool. Wow, that's so cool. Had this not happened, I never would have seen that. But I was setting up my tripod to film a little intro for you guys, and a big boat came by, created a big wake, and my tripod and camera went in the lake. Let me show you guys. This camera here, Sony a6300, is what I've shoot most all of my videos on, and there's water in the lens, there's water in the body of the camera. I'm gonna try to do something to get it dry. I don't know what that means, but just the way that it is when you film a lot, you take cameras around water, they're gonna get wet, and lesson learned, should have had it insured. But what is today's video gonna be about? I'm out here on a lake close to home where I typically go out and just catch fish when I have a couple hours to fish, which is like today, right? I have 5 hours to fish, so we're coming out here, gonna fish around, see if we can't catch some big fish. But this is actually similar to a video I did a couple years ago that you guys really loved, and it's a big swim bait challenge. Now, not all of these baits are big, but they are all swim baits, and I actually saw this on my buddy Kent Tressler's page. He has an Instagram page, caught some big fish, throwing a big swim bait, and so my idea was, why don't I go throw a big swim bait and see if I can't catch them? Today is like perfect. Sun, maybe just a little bit of clouds, and just a ripple on the water, so it should be pretty awesome. See if we can catch some. These are the baits in the lineup for today. You have a Savage Gear Shine Glide 185. This is what I caught that 9-pounder on. I also caught a 4 3/4 pounder smallmouth up here in Michigan on that. This is a little sneak peek bait that'll be coming in your Monster Bass box, a Mega Bass Mag Draft 6-inch and a 4.5-inch producer swim bait from my man Nick LeBron. So those are the only baits we have on deck right now. See if we can't catch some fish on them. It should be a ton of fun. These fish should be pushed up around the docks, which is a perfect opportunity to throw those baits, draw out some mega big largemouth. Let's see if we can't make it happen. Have some fun. Okay, here we go. Starting out with the bait that I have the most confidence in so far, which oddly enough is the biggest of the swim baits, and it is a Savage Gear Shine Glide 185. It's a 7-inch bait, and it just has a ton of drawing power. It should be a bait that should work today. With a little bit of ripple on the water, it should be perfect. Oh, there's a follower. Dang it, 2 followers. I do think the way this lake sets up, I'm gonna draw a ton of fish. I don't know that I'm gonna draw a giant. I think I'm gonna get bit by a giant, but I think I'm gonna draw a lot of small fish. Not yet. Not yet. It will be here in a minute. I'll catch some. How are you guys? Good. There's one. That's a big one. Hell yeah. Holy. Look at that. Just barely got it too. Right off the end of that little point. Dude, that's like a 3-pounder. That's so cool. Zeros? $3.35. 3 1/4 pounder on that big glide. Thank you, fish. Swim away. Hell yeah, dude. First Michigan largemouth on a swim bait. Savage Gear Slime Guide, 185 bone color. It's a deal, man. 3 1/2 pounder, 3 1/4 pounder. Just a little grass point that comes out here, and he smashed it. I mean, I slowed it down a little bit. I was keeping it high to get the bait over the grass. And when I slowed it down, he smashed it. I'm shaking. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm pretty pumped up about that fish. Basically what I was doing was reeling it really high, rod tip high, coming across that grass. Then I killed it. When I killed it, that fish ate it. He didn't have it very good. He had it good enough to get it in the boat though. What I like about this Shine Glide is I just have to turn the handle. It does everything else. When you stop it, it sinks real slow, but you can keep it pretty high in the water. It's so cool. That is one thing I like about having a Texas rig swim bait is you can skip it forever. And so like where I can't skip that Shine Glide, I can take this little producer, 1/4 ounce head, and you know, sometimes it bounces like that, but I can typically skip it pretty well. So it's just a Hayabusa, you know, swim bait head with a screw lock hook. That little producer 4 1/2. You can just skip that bait up under that dock, slowly reel it out. I was really hoping. So this is really one of my first times fishing a swim bait around docks, but I do think like it's the same principle as with all dock fishing, right? You want as quiet of an entry as possible. You want to put your bait in places other people haven't been able to put their bait. And I know this bait has a lot of drawing power, but I still got to find a way to actually get it up under these docks, right? So if that means letting it sink and kind of using that S motion to kind of let it glide up under there, that's what I'm trying to do. So I'm getting it basically as close as I can. Sometimes I'm using my rod tip to get it to go, just letting it sink, right? And then hitting it twice pretty hard, try and get it to go. Whoa, that was a pike. I'm glad I didn't get it. He followed it all the way to the boat. I mean, he splashed me, my feet are wet. That was a little hammer handle. If that was a giant, I would have been really sad. But that was like a little, you know, 20-inch pike. There are some big pike and muskie in here though, so I really should be, you know, fishing it correctly. I was basically just burning the top of this point though. Fishing this too fast, I know I am. One thing I do like to see is there's a ton of bluegill beds. There's a late, you know, August bluegill spawn, and there's a bunch of bluegill beds, a bunch of bluegill shallow, and that tells me these bass should be pushed around them. So I'm fishing through this area really slow because I can see these bluegill beds all over. Now, what I don't know, and I did spook a bass off of a big sand flat earlier, is my fish came off a sand flat. The other fish I spooked came off a sand flat. So it makes me wonder if these fish aren't up on that sand in that little bit of grass hanging out for these bluegill. Because even though this is a white bait, I don't know how much bait color actually truly matters. I think especially with these big baits, fish are curious. They come up, look at it. When they see it, try to get away from them. They have to eat it. But these fish might be up on this sand waiting for these bluegills to hang out and push around there. Here's one. Oh, it's the bass or pike. That's a bass, it's a giant. Oh my God. We're just gonna flip him. Oh my God. Holy smokes. I thought that was a pike. Oh my gosh. Holy. I thought that was a pike. Oh my gosh. I don't know how big this fish is. 5.5, 6 pounds. I haven't caught a largemouth this big this year. Zeros. Oh my gosh. 553. 5.5 pounder. Okay. Gotta put it in the level for a second, just so I can get a camera ready. Oh, I'm shaking so bad. Oh, 553. Oh, I just had to swing her. You got heavy line, 20-pound line, heavy rod, swing that fish in. Don't let her don't let her turn her head. Guys, what a beautiful fish. 5.5 pounder. Fell victim to that Savage Gear 185 in the bone color. We're gonna get this fish back. Beautiful fish. Thank you. There she goes, swims away. How unreal is that? 5.5 pounder, big swim bait. I really thought I might catch one today. That's 2 fish. What is that, 2 fish for 9 pounds? Heck yeah. How crazy is that? This is the bait. Bone color Savage Gear, Shine Glide 185, Dobyns Fury 806 swim bait rod. So it's an 8-foot 6-power swim bait rod. Lose 300 size Super Duty. Getting it done. Or maybe this is the, yeah, it's a Super Duty. It might be the 200 wide, I don't know. It's a wide. Oh, I can't hardly talk. That's crazy. 5.5 pounder. That's like one of the biggest fish I've ever caught on this lake, and this is late summer. So starting to feed up, but not like full-blown feeding yet. That's crazy. When she hit and I leaned, I thought it was a pike, or I thought I snagged something because she didn't move. Oh. Oh, so I just had to send a picture of that to Alex, because that's unreal, man. That is my biggest Michigan largemouth on this bait. And one of my biggest Michigan largemouth of all time. I don't largemouth fish a ton, but like we have some good fish. I just don't fish for them a lot. I caught a 7.5 a couple of years back, but before that it was a 5.11 and then a 5.5 and a 5.8. So that was, I mean, top 5 biggest Michigan largemouth, and I just boat flipped it. So that's pretty crazy. Just throwing that shine glide, and it's so easy to fish, and it draws fish, and you can cover water. Oh, that's so cool. So I just wanted to sit down and talk to you guys really quick. And in my opinion, things are going to plan, maybe even a little bit better than plan. I never expected to come out here and catch a 5-pounder. You just don't ever really come out and expect to catch a 5.5-pounder, especially in Michigan. And then we caught another one about 3.25, and I've drawn probably 5 or 6 more fish that haven't committed to my bait. But I basically stuck that Savage Gear Shine Glide 185 in my hand, throwing it around, have a ton of confidence in it, and I'm drawing a lot of fish. I don't think the size of this bait is scaring those fish away. I just don't think some of those fish are ready to commit, especially those fish in like the 2-pound class. They kind of get up under it and want to eat it, but they just can't commit to it. So I've not drawn any big ones really and not caught them. Really just kind of that 2.5, maybe a 3-pound range, but it's typically just those little bit smaller class fish so far. So we're gonna keep going. I've basically been fishing some docks, but both of my fish have come off of sand patches. So like there's these big flats, and where these flats are, there's sand, and that's gonna warm up relatively quick. The water temperature is falling. Nights are cold, nights are in the 40s. So water temps are in the 70s. But that shallower sandy bottom is going to warm up more quickly, and there's really no reason for those fish to push up under docks. So they're kind of sitting on that sand, just kind of hanging out, waiting for bait fish to swim by. And I also think that bluegill spawn that we just had has something to do with it as well. But we're just going to keep running docks, keep running those sand areas, see if we can't draw a couple more big ones before we have to take the boat and put it on the trailer for the night. So I'm going to put you back on my chest. Let's get back to fishing. That's the thing. I knew I was going to draw some fish and not get them. So it doesn't surprise me, it doesn't discourage me, because the potential is to catch another 5.5. So I don't care if I draw 42.5 pounders if I catch a couple more like that big 5.5. So like that's the potential of this bait. You have these big opportunities to catch some giants on this thing. So just got to kind of keep your head down and keep fishing, even if you miss or if you don't get committed for some smaller fish. Oh, there's another one with him. Right on that dock post. Oh, dang it. I thought that one had it good. That was so textbook. Like right on that post. There's another one with him. That was a 3-pounder. Dadgummit. Even if I had a net, I don't think I would have gotten that fish. I mean, I should probably get it out anyways, but dang it. The key is you just can't let them turn their head. And like I went to lift that fish and he must have not had it very good. Okay, so we're gonna go back to that dock where I lost that one, but I want to touch on something that I think is pretty interesting. Helped me shorten my learning curve with big glide bait. Now, by no means am I an expert. I've been fishing a glide bait a handful of times, maybe 10 times, but one of the things that helped me out a lot was really not thinking of it as being that big of a bait, right? Think of it as a search tool. Think of it as a bait that will draw a lot of fish, and get a bait that really does the work for you. Like that Savage Gear really glides side to side just by hitting the handle. Now, I'm not sponsored by Savage Gear. This is not sponsored, but that bait really helped me develop confidence because it really does basically all of the work for you, and you don't really have to impart a lot of rod action to get that bait to move. So having a bait that does that for you is really, really helpful. Now this is really the only one that I know of that does it for you, but I've not really fished a ton of glides. I have a River to CS Waver, I have a dual Ninja twitching glider, and then I have this Savage gear. So my experience is limited, but that's my favorite bait. It's something I have confidence in. It draws a lot of fish. I mean, I just drew like a 1.5 pounder to the bait, so it definitely draws a lot of fish. And if you're looking for a glide bait, just kind of keep in mind to not think of it as being a giant bait. Think of it as being something that attracts a ton of fish, big and small, and then also find a bait that works for you. It makes it a whole heck of a lot easier. But that dock is just right around that corner up there. I'm going to idle up to that corner, then I'm going to go and try to fish that dock pretty slowly, and hopefully I can connect with one of those fish. I'm not sure if they're resident fish living on that dock or if they just pull up there to feed. But there were definitely 2 fish there. The one that I hooked, and then there was another one right behind it about the same exact size. So I really want to catch that fish. Would have put us right around 12 pounds for 3 fish, which is like dumb insane. So let's go see if we can't catch it real quick. Oh! There's another 3 pounder. Heck yes. Hell. Oh. Look at that. Smoked it. Thank you, fish. So cool. They're on the sand. That's what they're on. All of them. That one I caught under that dock, the key about that dock is there's sand under it. It's just a big sand flat. So yeah, you might get some under docks, but this bait around the sand and grass mix, this is the deal. Oh. How? I hate that. Oh. So everyone, that's going to end the night. I actually got about 6 bites, which is more than I expected, to be entirely honest. All of them coming on that Savage Gear Shine Glide 185, and that bait is something I have confidence in, something that this lake has helped me develop more confidence in today. And I caught that 5.5 pounder, which is absolutely unreal. I'm so stoked on that 5.5. Text Alex already, text Nathan, called Nathan, text Kylie. I mean, that 5.5 is like a true blue Michigan giant. Really, really crazy night. I really figured I'd get about 2 bites, but I ended up getting 6. Drew about 6 or 7 more fish, just couldn't get those fish to commit, but that is a big success. I think this bite's gonna get better as the fall goes on, pretty much until it starts to get like below 50 degrees. So I hope to do this a couple more times. If you guys enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and if you're not already, hit that subscribe button down below. As always, thank you guys for watching. Take care, tight lines. God bless. Pursue your passion.